Welcome to the African Renaissance Time TV channel. I'm Brother C.C.Blackman. Recently, it's been in the news that blacks are asserting a Jewish identity.
I want my people to rise up like the Jewish people. I'm a competitor, and I'm jealous of the Jewish community. I'm jealous of the fact of how they don't abort their babies. I'm jealous of the fact of how they stay with their wives. I'm jealous of the fact of how they do business together.
Anti-Semitism is really about learning the root words of where these come from and understanding that this is an African heritage that is also belonging to the people. Africa is in it, whether we want to dismiss it or not. So the claims of anti-Semitism and who are the original chosen people of God.
The subject of this video is that, are blacks the real Jews, or do we just have a Jew wish? From my perspective, it's undeniable that there have been, from the very beginning of Judaism, many black African Jews, primarily in Ethiopia and other parts of the North African region. So there's no question that there is a connection between African people and Judaism. But to me, the fundamental connection is not a connection based on race, because we do know that Judaism is actually a religion. It's not a race. And there are all kinds of people of all kinds of races claiming to be Jews. The truth about the matter is the Jewish faith is based on a contract with the chosen people. And who are the chosen people? The chosen people, in truth, are the real people of God. Those people who have said, we will be your people and you will be our God. That is the connection. So if you are a person who lives that righteous life and has pledged to be the people of God and have demonstrated that in your righteousness, you certainly can claim the connection that you are part of a chosen people. So for blacks who want to be chosen people, they have to return to the kind of thinking that they will be God's people and God will be their Lord. We as black people need to do an about face from a lot of the things we've learned in our experience in Western culture. We have to come to a point of understanding where our identity is directly connected to the way we relate to God. The world has tried to tell us that black people are inferior. People have tried to interpret all kinds of religious ideas in a negative way when it comes to black people. We look at Christianity and it gives us an idea of, that actually supported slavery in some ways. We look at Islam and we see that the Arabs, after the death of Muhammad, became prior to Muhammad's death, were also slave traders, but became prolific slave traders for over 1,000 years. That, in my mind, does not discredit the message of Islam, nor does the behavior of the Christians discredit the message of Christianity. But I think that we have to go even deeper than the religious view when we look at what happened to black people. People and conquerors have always used religions to conquer other people. So I don't think that's the religion that's calling for that, but I think that people want power. And if they can use something as influential as religion to control another people, it will be done. I used to always wonder how Christians who were white and prosperous did not run over to the black churches to share their secrets of prosperity with the black people. It was Martin Luther King said the most segregated hour in America was on Sunday morning at church. So religion does not necessarily unite you with other people who have racial differences. The way human beings function is that they look out for the people that they're most familiar with, the people who they feel culturally connected to. So if blacks are going to take on the identity or say that they are Jews, then they have to do what Jewish people do. And the people that call themselves Jews today, they take care of their own. They don't send, for the most part, their kids to public schools. When I lived in Brooklyn, they mostly sent their kids to the yeshivas that they spent their money on building. They collected that money through thrift and business, and taking advantage of other people who were less sophisticated to protect their own interests. You hear Kanye complain about contracts? Why don't we have our own lawyers? Why don't we have our own thinkers looking at these documents? Because for me, every Jew I have dealt with in business, contracts were sacrosanct to them. They were serious about their contracts. But if you sign on that dotted line and you haven't read and understood what you're doing, you might be subject to something that you feel is exploitative. But what we can admire about Jewish people, and I am no anti-Semite, I don't support that, but the fact of the matter is, I notice all around the country something Malcolm noticed. They always live near a black community. And they always seem to control the most valuable resources in that community. I don't know why that is. It might have something to do with the fact that when 50, 60 years ago, they were not as successful in this country as they may seem to be today. There were times when white folks didn't want them on Miami Beach, and they eventually bought that. When there were parts of downtown Manhattan, when I was growing up, I'm from Harlem, and Jews eventually I would say in the 50s and 60s, started to buy up these prominent places. So I don't believe that it makes any sense to be jealous of another people, because the same things that they're doing are open to us. If we made a commitment to spend our resources with each other, to honor each other's lives, to see the value in studying our own history, to be inspired by that history, to work together, to make sure we kept our families close, and to celebrate the praises of the Most High, and to place a value on being righteous, and to place the emphasis on the group instead of the individual. You look at the Lubavitcher Jews in parts of Brooklyn and in New York, they all dress alike. Now, I'm not saying that all black people should dress alike, but they send a signal that it's not about the individual, it's about that Jewish team. I wish we would really take that message seriously. Maybe it's a good thing that our people are talking about being Jewish people. I'm not talking about from a religious standpoint, but talking about practicing some of the community behavior that we see amongst them. We can do it. God is no respecter of persons. There's no God who's saying that he's going to make sure that blacks are under the oppression of any other people. All we have to do is turn toward each other with compassion, with love, and ask God to give us the guidance to do the things that we need to do, that we know we need to do, to bring our families back together, to bring our communities back together, to use our resources to help other black people become wealthy. We should want to be a wealthy people. And the best way to make something happen is to do it yourself. There's no reparations program going to solve the problems of black people. Only thing that will solve the problems of black people is love and respect for each other. Working together is the only thing that will work for us. Working together with the understanding that our behavior should be pleasing in the sight of our Creator. So the bottom line is that black people are as Jewish as anybody if they have that commitment to be the chosen people. And to be the chosen people, you must align yourself with wanting to do the will of God. You must align yourself with righteousness. You must not kill your babies indiscriminately with abortion because another people want you to stop breathing. You should take care of your children. You should form strong marriages and families. However you put that together, make sure you're sincere about it, because our children hang in the balance. We have to love each other. We have to respect each other. We have to take care of our children. We have to take care of our wives. We have to take care of our husbands. We have to take care of our relatives. We have to take care of our community. This is what the message is. This is what it's all about. So, yes, we need to make that return en masse to God consciousness. We need to be conscious of trying to do the right thing. We need to become a trustworthy people. We need to be a people that live by reputation. I've traveled to many African countries, and you ask a person about another person, they'll say, oh, he is a good person, or she is a good person. And this is a serious, serious designation. They'll say, oh, this one comes from a good family, honorable family. People are truthful. People are trustworthy. This is the atmosphere where business can be done. How can we do business with each other when we are so unable to trust one another? Because we're not being educated correctly about community. Community is about the good of the group. And the people who sacrifice for the good of the group can't be in the minority. They must be the majority in order for that people to be considered a good people. Most of our people have to think about how we behave how our behavior affects our group. If we thought more about how our behavior affected our group, we would see an end to a lot of the problems that we have. We have to be an intelligent people. And an intelligent people does not destroy themselves. Black people have to stop destroying themselves. And if they want to identify, because you got to remember, religion is not really a revolutionary force. But spirituality can be one. Because the difference between religion is just what you profess. I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Jew. I've learned long enough that that doesn't mean anything. You have to watch a person's behavior to see if they really got that Christ consciousness? Are they really connected with the message of Muhammad and they really revere Allah enough to be ethical in their behavior? The same thing with Jewish people. If you're going to be Jewish, let me see it in your behavior. If you're going to be a Muslim, let me see it in your behavior. But regardless of what religion you follow, you cannot leave behind the historical struggle of your people. You have to build a legacy for your people. You have to do things that demonstrate the power of God. Let's start converting each other through our actions. Let's start showing how we're doing something for our people. Let's bring people to faith. All the people that's out there screaming about their religion and having their religious chauvinism, let's show through our actions and the behaviors why people should be converted to our religion.
The elder generation is saying it's time to wake up. Wake up.
Because I'm not really concerned about what religion most of our people follow anyway. Because most of them say the same thing. Don't steal, don't cheat, don't kill, don't mess with another man's wife. All of the religions basically say the same thing. It's like buying beans in the in the grocery store. You know, you have Del Monte, you got Heinz, you got different types of beans, but they basically are still beans. Black people have a bigger problem than religion. We've been given a negative self-awareness that makes us believe that the world is against us. You got black people walking around today believing that black people are cursed, or God has left us out of the plan for progress, for human progress, or we have to be subordinate to other people, or that we don't have the capacity to participate in science. We don't have the capacity to build our own nations and to run our own nations and run our own affairs and to build our own communities. We have all of these capacities. But again, we have to be the real people of God. We have to be the real chosen people. So once again, I'd like you to like and subscribe because I want to go live and start discussing these things. Like and subscribe to the channel. And thank you for listening. And once again, I am a Garveyite. I say, up you mighty people. You can accomplish what you will. And there's nothing to stop us except a wrong opinion of God and a wrong opinion of ourselves. We have all kinds of capacities, all kinds of talents, all kinds of abilities, all kinds of genius locked in the ghetto because we will not go first to God and then to ourselves to build the world that we want. Thank you once again.